as we invite Rabbi Yonatan Cohen, YCT graduate, the rabbi of Congregation Beth Israel in Berkeley, California, and a close friend of mine personally, who traveled to Israel a few days ago to join his family as they were sitting Shiva for his nephew, for Yoav Malayev, a Chayal in Sahal, who died at the very beginning of the conflict, protecting others on the small base that he was on the border with Gaza, and heroically saved other people's lives in the process. Unfortunately, lost his own. Rav Yonatan, if you're there, I'll ask you to please unmute yourself, and we'll spotlight you, and you can share how things are going for you at the moment. And we offer our condolences to you. Min hashamayim tinuchanu. We can't hear you.
Thank you, Rav Yona. Yeshut Rabbatai, and with honor to my esteemed teachers who are here and many dear friends who are on this call. This morning, my sister's family got up from Shiva after the hardest week of their entire life, and mine as well. And there are many concentric circles of trauma, and I'm close to it, but I'm far from the heart of this this trauma. My beloved nephew, Yoav Malayev, my sister's firstborn son, my parents' oldest grandson, was a Katzin Toran, the officer in charge at the Zikin base, which is right at the north of the northern tip of the Gaza Strip. On Shabbat morning, based on some very confusing reports, he had a feeling that something was not going right. And at that very moment, he decided to gather all the troops that were there. Yoav is 19 years old. The rest of the soldiers are 18 years old. And he decides that to send the majority of the soldiers, it's a very small unit at that particular base, into the Hamal, into a safety room, and to take 2 soldiers with him to the gate of the base to see what was happening. He also knew that there was one soldier at the gate who was fairly new to the army, a new recruit. And when they arrived to the gate, they were engaged in combat with, we don't know exactly, but about 10 to 15 terrorists, Hamas terrorists. The soldier that was at the gate was in a state of complete shock and panic. What we know from texts that she sent to her parents, she was sitting down at a safe room and texting to her parents almost step by step of everything that was transpiring. The first text says, I'm alone at the gate and I'm hearing noises and I'm scared. And then the next text says, the officer in charge, Yoav, is here with 2 other soldiers. And then it says, they're attacking us. It describes how Yoav and these 2 other soldiers that were with him were able to kill 4 terrorists. And then it describes a few moments later that Yoav is hit. Then the other 2 soldiers are hit, and the last text from this young soldier to her parents is, I'm going to be next. And she is killed as well. But what we find out later is that they bought enough time that everyone else at the base, their lives were saved. And that if there was a plan to go into this kibbutz Zikin, which is about a 2-minute distance from the army base, that plan does not go into execution, and the terrorists don't go into that base. On Shabbat morning, when the war broke out, Yoav reaches out to my sister and my brother-in-law, and they don't hear from from him from that moment on. I would say that Yoav is one story of more than 250 soldiers at this point that have lost their lives in the past week. But among those soldiers and among the many civilians who were martyred this past week, we feel a sliver of gratitude. We were able to bury Yoav 2 days after he was killed. We have his body. We know his story. It has a beginning, middle, and end, not an end that we want, but an end that seems to be deeply consistent with the values that his parents embody. My sister and my brother-in-law are in profound grief, and yet they draw strength from the choices that Yoav made in these final moments. And I would say that Israeli society is at its best during these, at the Shiva house. If you were to sit at the Shiva house this week, and Rabbi was there at some point this week, among many other dear friends and loved ones, Rabbi Yair Silva, my predecessor in Berkeley. You saw all of Am Yisrael, my sister and my mother volunteer in the Ethiopian community, and members of the Ethiopian community were here. My brother-in-law was a career officer, led many important efforts in integrating the Haredi community into technological units in Israel, and Hasidic Jews and Haredi Jews came to the Shiva. Our family on Alex's side is involved in encouraging the integration of Bukhari Jews into the army and academic studies, and the entire Bukhari community was here. It is incredible to see the best of Israel come into and through the doors, and to get a sense of what we as a people are and could be through this crisis and after this crisis. We say that we can't draw comfort about Yoav's death, but there are things that ground us and give us meaning and purpose, and certainly that is one of them. I feel really appreciative of everyone being here, and we feel your support in Israel, and I know that Israelis who are here feel your support as well.